Hi guys, week 5 of your challenge. I hope you're all traveling along well and feeling good with your real food living changes. Today I'm going to be talking about something called your gut. I'm sure we've all heard it before, and there are so many reasons why it's so important in this day and age, especially because of all the processed foods that we're consuming. It's just wreaking havoc on our gut, and that's why all of a sudden all these horrible symptoms are coming up. And why sensitivities are like the number one thing that I see, bloating and abdominal pain. These are all things that clients come to me for, and it shouldn't be the case. So basically, the gastrointestinal tract is important for so many reasons, and I'll go through that now. You may have heard the saying that your gut is like your second brain, and it's actually a really true saying. So basically, the reason why is because in our gastrointestinal tract, or our gut, basically 75% of our immune system lies in there. 90% of our serotonin receptors, so our serotonin is our feel-good hormone, they lie in our gut as well. And also there's 10 times the amount of bacteria in our gut than any other human cell. So basically what this means is if you're experiencing symptoms like bloating or abdominal pain or flatulence, any of those horrible symptoms, this is a sign that your gut health isn't quite right. Also, if you feel like you're getting sick a lot and your immunity isn't so well, that's most likely because, again, your gut health isn't up to scratch. And also, current research has suggested that because 95% of our serotonin receptors lie here, it's linked to anxiety and depression and all sorts of mood disorders. So basically, if you fix up your gut, you're going to get so many benefits, not just in your physical symptoms in terms of bloating and all that kind of thing, but also your mental health and also your immunity. So it's a really, really amazing thing, and you really need to target on getting this into the most healthy form that you can. How do we do that? How do we get a healthy gut? I'll take you through that now as well. One thing that I like to kind of compare it to is a garden. So if you can compare, say, a gut health that isn't functioning so well, you're getting bloated a lot, you're getting a lot of symptoms, you're not well, you feel tired, and then you compare it to a garden that's overgrown, there's weeds everywhere, it hasn't been watered, the environment doesn't help it grow. I like to sort of compare it to a garden because basically if you think about how you'd fix a garden, it's really similar to how you'd fix your gut. So for example, what would be the first step in fixing that garden? Would be to remove all the weeds, so all the nasty stuff. So basically it's the same with your gut. The first thing you need to remove is all those digestive irritants and all those processed foods that are making your gut really irritable. So that's step number 1. Remove all the junk foods. If you find that dairy makes your stomach sensitive, get rid of it. If you find gluten makes you bloated, get rid of it. You just want to clear out all the bad stuff first. And then the second step that you might do, if you're, say, fixing that garden, as I was saying before, is you'd probably water it. That's really important to help it grow and help it flourish. And that's the same with your gut. So tip number 1 is remove all the bad stuff. Tip number 2 is hydrate. So make sure you're drinking at least 2 liters of water per day. That's going to help get rid of all the toxins, help with your bloating as well. It just helps get rid of everything. It helps keep you regular, and it's really, really important that you hydrate. Step 3 would be, if we're talking about a garden, you might think about fertilizing it, getting all the good stuff in. It's exactly what you do with your gut. So basically you want to fertilize it with things like probiotics. So basically a lot of the time if your gut isn't functioning right, it's because you have a really bad balance of good and bad bacteria. So you might have seen that Inner Health Plus ad about the good and bad bacteria. That's a really good representation of what I'm talking about. So basically you want to get some really good probiotics in. So these are basically the good bacteria, and that's the stuff that helps our gut flora thrive. So you can purchase this from your health food store. You can start with that, so getting it in the capsule form, making sure you're getting a really high quality probiotic. Or if you think you've mastered that and you want to go a step further, trying to just get probiotic rich foods into your diet. So things like kombucha is really great, some miso, you can get kefir, yogurt, all those kind of foods that are really going to help your gut flourish, really. So that's my little education on gut health for week 5. And basically if you go through those steps, you're really going to help relieve your symptoms. If there is anything more serious, I would recommend that you obviously see a nutritionist or see a doctor, because obviously we don't just want to bypass something serious that could happen, like an ulcer or something. But start with those 3 tips and I guarantee you'll be feeling so much better.